I know what it's like to get put out the projects. Everybody looking. Someone from your house watching over your things that they set out on the edge of the property. I know what it's like to get teased because your uniform wasn't clean in elementary school. I know what it's like to hustle, dealing with them 12-12 skinnies, messing up your re-up money trying to work your way back up from a quarter, getting a batch of that hard white. It's gonna take a long time to chop it down to dimes with this small ass razor. I know what it's like to see roaches everywhere. I know what it's like to smell the bad food from the freezer because they cut the electric. I know what crack smell like when it's burning in the other room. I found the homemade pipes. I know what it's like to have a conversation with someone and later on somebody else come and tell you that that same person was killed. I know what it's like going through R&D, the packed out bullpen at the Supreme Court, the bus ride back to the jail, count time, canteen, hookups, the first phone call home, 30-day evaluation at CTF, the bad feeling when the judge announced your sentence, the tears in the eyes of your family sitting behind you. I know what that shit like for real, nigga. But I don't know what it's like to be a teen murderer.
Yeah, we good, Jay. What's up?
Alright. What's up, man? So yeah, man, I don't want to hold you too long, so I guess, I'm already going, already got everything going on this end, so if you want to, start from the top, like where you meet Pop.
Okay. All right. Pop, Shelton Walker's better known as Pop. I met him around 4th Street in 1983. A guy named Brian Texas brought him around there. And he came around and, he was a little red guy, curly hair. So we was like, who the fuck is this little nigga? So Brian was like, Brian introduced him to my brother. Which, my brother was like a leader of the neighborhood, like leader of football. We had a band. So him and my brother didn't really get along at first. And one day, they had a few words. And then the next day we go to school at Henley Elementary School. Pop is there. So we like, what the hell is going on? So, he at the school, so him and my brother, they end up, having a conversation around that morning time, walking to school about Pop joining our junkyard band, because Pop was like, he can rap and he can dance, because that's what he was into. He was into that. He was into music.
Yeah.
And he was like, and when I seen him, I'm a little guy, when I seen him that morning, that evening after school, he was like, man, I'm joining the band, man. He was like, your brother let me in the band. So I was like, all right, that's like that. So he joined the 6th Street Junkyard Band. And once he joined the 6th Street Junkyard Band, him and my brother got real tight. Me, him, and my brother, we got real tight. I mean, like, real tight. So...
Yeah, how old was he at this time?
He was like, Pop was around like 12, 11.
Okay.
He was like 12, 11 years old. So he joined the band with us, and we got to know him. We got to get to know him. We got, mostly he was like 10, I'd say about 10, 11, around that.
Okay.
So we got to know him. He was a cute little, pretty little motherfucker, curly hair. But my brother, he was a red nigga with cat eyes. So by them connecting, they had basically, all the women, all the little girls at that time, checking them out and this, that, and the other.
Right.
So once he joined the band, you know what I'm saying, me and my brother, we got he moved around the corner, because when we came, and all of a sudden, man, like when we looked up, man, he was living, in our complex. And we was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? He was, and he was happy about it. He was like, I moved around here, I'm in the band, this, that, and the other. So, we started playing football together and shit like that. Like my brother would go get him, he'll come around our house, and my brother would be like, man, you want to play some football? So, he wasn't really a sport, you know what I'm saying, kind of guy, but he had heart. So my brother started the band. We started our little 6th Street Junkyard band. So he was happy about that. He was up front. Him and my brother, they was up front, and we had a decent crowd. And like getting to know him and stuff like that. Like all of a sudden, one day, he come around our house. He got shit all on his face. He got doodle all on his body. And he was like, can I come around here, to get something to eat and shit like that? And, me and my brother, we was like, yo, what the fuck is going on, yo? We young then,
Yeah.
And he was like, my mom, keep beating me and shit, made me, cause like there's certain things, like if he wouldn't do in the house, like this mother, like he had a dog. Pop had a dog. He would come home from school with us, because we was together every day. Me, him, and my brother was together every day. So you can even ask his sister, man. She'll tell you. And we would come home from school. Me and my brother, we go in the house with my grandmother. My grandmother wasn't no mean lady, but she didn't fuck with a lot of our friends. She did, but she didn't. And when he came around there that night, I never forget that shit. He came around there, he was crying. It was like motherfucking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. He had doodle all on him and shit. And, he was crying. He was like, he ain't had nowhere to go. His mother just beat him, and he had all this stuff. So we took him in. We took him in that day, you know what I'm saying? And washed him up. Because him and my brother always wore the same size clothes. And, and one day, when he came in there, he told us, you know what I'm saying, how his mother would be treating him and shit. And, my grandmother was mad as shit about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, at that time, we wasn't even teenagers, man. We were little guys, man. And like I told you, man, he was the sweetest little dude, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So my grandmother was like, why the fuck is his mother, beat them like this? So he came right there again after she doodled, puts his face in the dog shit, because when he came home and when she came home, the doodle was in the house, but he was at band practice with us.
What? And was his mother standing around Bury Farm?
Nah, she was standing around 4th Street with, around 4th Street.
Oh, okay.
Cause we lived in where it's called Cascade Park now. Around there by St. Thomas More, across the street in that complex. He lived on the 2nd floor. Then he came around our house the second time, man. So my grandmother took him in. And we was talking shit, man, be up all night playing. He was happy, man, when he was with us, man. His mother used to beat him for nothing, man. I mean, like, crush him, Slim. I mean, like, that shit like bringing tears to my eyes, Slim, you know what I'm saying? The Shorty was a good man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And his mother beat him and shit. So, me and my brother, we cried to my grandmother. Was like, man, you need to, Mom, he our friend, Mom. You need to take him in, Mom. You know what I'm saying? So she took him in. We fed him, he had clothes, and my brother wore the same stuff. We had fun when he was living with us. You know what I'm saying? So his mother got mad, because he was going to school. He was doing the right thing. So his mother got mad and something happened, and he couldn't stay with us. You know what I'm saying? So, when they came in, when his mother came and got him, for another month, that shit continued. Like, he would pop up at our house at any given time with bruises and shit, and being, beat up and shit. So my grandmother, was like, and I'm gonna tell you that, man, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why, just like I say, man, a lot of people don't know, what became of, they know what became of him, but they don't know the reasons why the fuck Shorty became who he became.
Yeah.
He was beaten, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, my family, my grandmother loved him because once we got a little older and went to junior high school, he went to Kramer where my grandmother was working at. You know what I'm saying? So my grandmother would make sure he okay, feed him and stuff like that, ask him, do he need anything? But, he was starting that motor at that time. You know what I'm saying? He was starting that motor at that time because this, we had the Junkyard Band, Kirk McGray, the guy that ran the Junkyard Band at that time, came around, looking for talent. Found out we had a Junkyard Band. Found out we had two little pretty motherfuckers because Junkyard was in the short dudes. And Dirk picked them. Dirk picked both of him and my brother. Pop mother said yeah. My grandmother said no. So, Pop was like, damn, I want, because he really wanted my brother, with him. So after that, when he joined Junk, he was around for a little bit, for like another year or two. We would hang out, he would come around, see my grandmother, and he was still with the Junkyard Band, and he was still trying to get my brother, with the Junkyard Band. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of that shit come from his mother beating him, man, and nobody, giving a fuck about him. But us, my grandmother and my family, we cared about him. We did a lot for him. And when he left and became, that other person, he never, whatever he did in the street, he never, like, he would get shit from people, like, I guess, rob people, whatever, get shit, and he would always come back to our neighborhood. Like he would get shit, when, like I said, once we left elementary and went to junior high, I ain't see him in a minute, and then, I would hear about him, and then, like he would get shit from niggas or rob them or whatever, but he would always come back in our neighborhood. But we would never know. Like, me and my brother would come outside and walk up the street, and he'd be like, what's up, motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? We'd be like, what the fuck is you doing around here? But then, he had already been in there to see my grandmother. And then he'd be like, y'all got some money? You know what I'm saying? Like, he would always, make sure me and my brother, because Pop was an evil motherfucker, man. He ain't really fuck with like people walking up on him.
Yeah.
Like people don't, know him, think you gonna come up and walk up and talk to him. Nah, you will be, like finished right there. That's how he was, man. It's a couple of things I had to stop. For people walking up on me when me and him was talking. You know what I'm saying? So, like he was, he turned into a whole nother, but I already knew when he turned into that monster, I knew the reasons why, because he would tell me, I knew, my brother knew, my grandmother knew. That's why my grandmother never knocked him when he turned into a monster. You know what I'm saying? Because she knew what the fuck he been through as a kid. And, like I said, he would get shit from other motherfuckers, coming back around, rob, whatever, come around our neighborhood, make sure me and my brother okay. You know what I'm saying? And this, that, and the other, make sure we was okay. Y'all need any money. But just me and my brother. You know what I'm saying? He would just make sure me and my brother, my grandmother was okay. So bam, then one day, you know what I'm saying? I go to jail and I go in this block called A6. And he in the block, I didn't know it, but I hear somebody screaming my name at the bullpen, like, hey, girl. And so the youngin' that was doing detail, he was like, man, hey, man, that's Pop calling you. I was like, what Pop, Shelton Watkins? He was like, yeah. I was like, hey. So I go up there, talk to him for a minute. You know what I'm saying, buddy? Because he wanted me to stay up there with him, to chill with him. So I stood up there with him for an hour, but the guard was like, yeah, go back to your cell. So when I came out again for a visit, I went up there and talked to him again. The guard ended up popping the door. And I ended up going in the motherfucking room and then spending the night with him the whole night. That nigga told me everything he did. You understand me, Slim?
Yeah.
He would tell nobody. You know what I'm saying, Slim? I know everything. This man told me everything because I asked him. I'm like, why you going like, but, I never really asked him, like, why he was going, because I knew the reasons why, but I was like, damn, Slim, why you do this? And why you do that? And, and he told me, you know what I'm saying? And I knew he would tell me because how close we are, you know what I'm saying? I knew he would tell me, but he told me everything, Slim. He laid it down, who he hit, the reasons why, and I asked him everything. And believe it or not, man, I was fucked up when he killed Blake. Me and him got into it real bad about that.
Really? You knew Blake?
Man, I was fucked up with that. Blake was my motherfucking nigga. You know what I'm saying? Blake was a nigga that had a store that started his little store in Suitland. You know what I'm saying? And we used to, because Blake was about to get out the game. You know what I'm saying? To get into this store thing. So we used to go up there, before we go to the go-go, and, and buy his clothes, because his shit was legit back then. His store, I forgot the name of the store, but it ended up going down to the Avenue. You know what I'm saying? But Blake had a store over there in Suitland, and Blake, we ended up meeting Blake. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even around Pop at this time. I ain't seen Shorty in years. I was hearing about him. But I had met Blake, and Blake and my man that got killed named Bert, we ended up grabbing a good relationship, and Blake was telling me, you know what I'm saying, he was about to get out the game, he gonna do this clothing thing, and he was gonna make sure me and my man was all right. All we had to have was a little bit of change.
Yeah.
And by the week, I go back up that motherfucker, man, to meet him, and the store is locked. You know what I'm saying? So I see somebody in there, I say, Slim, what Blake at, Slim? Because Blake had, told me and my man to bring a couple of dollars. He gonna make sure, you know what I'm saying? And, he was giving a discount on his clothes. His clothes was legit. I'm talking about good clothes, good whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I go back up there like a week later to holler at him, to do this business. They come out and tell me he dead, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm fucked up. Me and my man, we in the car, we fucked up about it, man. So, I go back around the way, and like a month later, I hear who the fuck did it. You know what I'm saying? So I see his ass at the motherfucking Crystal Skate. I said, man, let me holler at you, man. You know what I'm saying? See, can't nobody talk to Pop like me and my brother could. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can go up and be like, motherfucker, let me holler at you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Can nobody else do no shit like that. You be out your mind to do some shit like that. But I was mad about that shit. I was like, Slim, let me holler at you, Slim. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what was up with that, Slim? Man, me and him ended up talking for like 4 hours about that shit. It was some shit Poe, you know what I'm saying, did. That shit was on Poe. Poe got mad because Shorty wouldn't fuck with Poe.
Oh, he wouldn't do business with him.
He wouldn't do no business with him. Right.
Yeah, because some people, I guess, on my video, they was trying to say, oh, man, Poe ain't had nothing to do with that. I guess those were the people coming from over on channel. So.
Man, fuck them people. They, like I told you, man, these motherfuckers out here, they be making up this shit. And it took me 10 years to talk to somebody. I'm tired, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, hey, man, he was a good dude, Slim. He ain't do no business with Slim. He was getting them things at a good number. Slim wanted to holler at him. He ain't fuck with Slim. Slim put Slim Shorty on him. And I was mad about that. We almost got into a fight about that shit. That's what I say, man. Motherfuckers don't know what they be talking about, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And I definitely appreciate you coming on and, fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Hey, man, like I say, man, if this thing do good, man, if you can get a deal, man, like I say, it's way more than this, man. Like I said, I was locked up with him in 92, man.
So that was right before he died, though, right?
Yeah.
Because he had got out somehow.
I had just fucking seen him. And you don't even know what he did before he got killed. That's why I say, man, motherfuckers don't, man, that's why I say, it's a lot of information I'm holding. Dog, man, I swear, man, if this thing hit off, man, I say, man, you're gonna know so much, you're gonna be like, just like you even like wild about, what I just told you, and it's the God heaven's truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was around them, You know, my niggas would tell you, my brother would be like, you know, like everybody didn't even want me to talk about Shorty because they knew my shit was valuable.
Yeah.
His pop would talk to me like a motherfucker. Because a lot of time my pop would come, when he come around the way, he want to come and holler at my brother. Just like I told you, he had the junkyard band around there hustling. Just like when Iz told you he gave him that shit.
Yeah.
He gave him that shit. You know what I'm saying? You ever see Iz documentary on Shorty?
Yeah, I saw the joint.
Yeah, Iz and Dre and them. Yeah, them niggas was good people, man. Them niggas was, man, fuck Poe, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Dre and Iz, them niggas was good men in the street. I'm talking about good men. You know what I'm saying? Like he gave Pop, you know that thing he told you he gave Pop that shit because Pop run that shit around our way. And he had the junkyard band selling it.
I'm gonna have to send you or that picture because I need you to point out which one was Dirk to me in that photo.
Dirk and Craig.
Yeah, the junkyard photo.
He the tall motherfucker. He a tall motherfucker with them big ass knots on his face. Got cat eyes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was trying to figure it out because when I had first started researching Pop and Junkyard, and I'm realizing like, damn, the dude Heavy one, he got hit. Pop got hit, then the dude Dirk.
Everyone got hit. Everyone was getting money too. Everyone was getting bricks, 2-3 bricks. Yeah. He had to pay for the junkyard band. These guys love music, man.
You talked to him about his interaction with Alpo or Wayne?
Wayne knew Pop's uncle. Okay, Pop's uncle used to come around 4th Street back in the day, you know, with Wayne. You know, sometimes. You know, that's his mother's brother, which they was already down Southwest at that time. So, you know, Wayne would come, you know, with his uncle sometime, I guess. I don't know what his uncle was doing, but we was in the band shit, and we used to be at Pop's house or be outside. And his uncle used to come up and be like, what's up, boy? Come here, you know, smack him up on the head. You know, you staying out of trouble, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? And Wayne used to be with him. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, at that time, you know, growing up, it wasn't, you know, like really nothing. His uncle knew Wayne. That's how Shorty got connected to Wayne. And then the Alpo thing, he told me, he said he was at the club one day. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what club. I think it was a chapter. He said he was at the club, and this bitch ass, this is exactly what he said. He said this bitch ass New York nigga, you understand, walked up on and was like, Shorty, what's up? Because he said, you know, Poe was saying that he heard Shorty was this, that, and the other. So Poe walked up on him, was like, man, what's up, man? How you doing? So Pop was like, man, I'm about to rob, because Pop was telling me that he was going to rob and kill Poe. His plan wasn't never to get, you know what I'm saying? So once at the club, Poe was like, man, what's up with Wayne, man? You know what I'm saying? I heard you connected to Wayne. You know what I'm saying? So Pop, you know, like told me he switched the whole mode because, you know, he was trying to get Wayne out. He was like, yeah, man, they got him, you know, locked up for 10,000 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Poe was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to make that move. But their plans was to get rid of Poe, man. Shorty was supposed to get rid of Poe until Poe got Wayne out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had that money, he had that connect. You know, so Pop and Wayne, they was, you know, Pop was telling me, they was about to smash Shorty, man. You know what I'm saying? Because when Jawbreaker shot Alpo, they was trying to get Pop to kill Jawbreaker, and Pop was like, nah, because he had fucked with Jawbreaker a little bit. Right. That's the reason why ain't nothing ever happened to Jawbreaker after Jawbreaker hit his ass up from trying to take over his neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Pop was like, you know what I'm saying? Their plans was to always to get Poe, man. But Poe kept that money. And then a lot of little shit that Pop did, you know, like, Poe would, you know, like, pay him. But, you know, I mean, they wasn't really, like, giving Shorty, you know, like, that, you know, that bag, like he's supposed to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The work he was putting in, you know what I'm saying? So Shorty was telling me, you know what I'm saying, that his plans was, you know what I'm saying, once they found out where that nigga money at, They was doing decapitated.
So, and what do you know where the whole Bury Farm thing come from? Because everybody says Pop was from Bury Farm.
Pop ain't no goddamn Bury Farm. You know what I'm saying? Pop. Only reason why they connected Pop with Bury Farm because Pop went to the junkyard band.
Okay, and that's the same band you was in. It wasn't like two junkyards at the time, was it?
Nah, we had our little 6th Street junkyard band, and you know, and like I said, the junkyard band, you know, they was the shit. So you know, and you know, we had our little band, and Dirk McCrae, you know, found out, you know, what school we went to and all that, and came to the school and got my brother and got Pop. And like I said, my grandmother didn't let my brother go, but Pop mother let him go.
Yeah. Okay. So, but he did go to Kramer and Anacostia. Yeah,
but he went to Kramer for like 2 years. He went to Anacostia for like a couple months, man.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, man, because I went to Anacostia. Like I say, I was around them all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's why a lot of motherfuckers, you know, I'm going to handle my business, but motherfuckers wouldn't even talk to me, Slim, you know, on the counter, you know, because, you know, they just, you know, see Shorty all hugged up on me and shit. They be like, man, Shorty, fuck with you, you know, and this, that, and the other. And I used to ignore a lot of people because they didn't know.
Right. So,
you know,
if he only went there for a couple of months, and then what? He just like dropped out and just went full into the streets.
I mean, he dropped out. To be honest with you, he dropped out of school in Kramer, man.
Okay.
You know, I think he basically like filled out an application to go to Anacostia, but he never went.
Right.
You know, because my grandmother kept, you know, pressing him to come back to school, but he kept getting in too deep with shit.
You recall the time when Pop actually left from prison or jail? It wasn't prison.
Yeah, nah, when he was at Marlboro, I remember when he left because he came around my way.
Oh, okay, got you.
He came around, he pulled up. He pulled up in a little white, little old car, right? Little banger, little Joe. I was like, who the fuck? He had like 3 youngers with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was asked, when he pulled up, he needed some clothes because, like I told you, anytime that motherfucker come out of jail, he come around our way to look for my brother or me, for I can take him in my house, so he can go through my brother's clothes and take his clothes.
Yeah.
So my brother would come home and be like, man, you done gave Pop my clothes. I'd be like, man, he came in here and grandma let him in. He came through all your shit. Yeah, you know, he came around to get some clothes the night he got killed. Hey, I seen him that night. I was fucked up. Look, the night he get killed, and I'm gonna leave it. I think I've been on here long enough, man. But the night he got, it's almost 30 minutes. But the night he got killed, I seen him. He came home. He came around the way looking for some clothes, you know, to go see Essence that night at the motherfucking junk, at the Classics. And he was like, he pulled up, you know what I'm saying, got out of the car. I never forget it. He was like, hey, where your brother at? He was like, motherfucker, get in the car. So everybody looking at me like, he gonna kill you. So we him laughing while we going to the car. So the people that's outside looking at me, don't get in that car. You know, so I busted out laughing. He laughing too, right?
Yeah.
So I get in the car and shit. You know what I'm saying? I take him down the street to see my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we down there talking for a while. I was like, you home, this, that, and the other. He's like, yeah. He's like, man, it was good to see you in the jump. So we talking about when I was there. And then he was like, man, where your motherfucking brother at, man? I need his motherfucking clothes. So tonight I'm going to see Essence. I'm going to see Essence tonight. I was like, you know, my brother was, you know, about them bitches. So my brother wasn't around the neighborhood. He was doing this other thing. So Pop was like, all right, motherfucker, I'll be back later on. So he called my grandmother. He was like, is Stephon there, Mom? And she was like, nah, baby, I haven't seen him. So he was like, all right. So they was going to Goga that night, and his ass ended up going down Fresh Gear. See, that was what's the name's clothing. That was his store before it went down the avenue. Mm. That was Blake's store in Suitland. It was called Fresh Gear. All right?
Got you.
So Pop ended up, when I seen Pop that day, he had a big ass 357 Chrome on him, right? When he came home. He had them two youngins with him. He ain't had no clothes at no time at that time. So this motherfucker, you know, don't forget he had killed Blake. So Fresh Gear is Blake and is Blake. So this nigga go down there and take shit out of Fresh Gear with the, you know, basically rob the gym. You didn't know that either, did you?
Hell no, I didn't.
Yeah, the night he got killed, that day, the day he went down to the classics, he rough fresh gear off. He went in fresh gear, put the gun, had the gun on him, and picked and had his niggas, and they picked whatever out.
Got fresh, then went to the classics.
Went to the classics. They pulled up. He was in there. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers kept telling me he kept, like my man Jeff, because I had called Pop. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get in contact with his ass that day because my man Jeff, I never forget my man Jeff. Jeff called me. He was like, man, Pop up here. Because Jeff went to holler at him because he holler at Jeff because he knew Jeff as a child. You know what I'm saying? So Pop, Jeff was like, yeah, can I just holler at Shorty, this, that, and the other. But he said the whole time Pop was there, Pop kept looking back, watching, looking back. No soon as they leave, you know what I'm saying? Pop walking, going to the car, talking to some girls or whatever. Man, they say this nigga popped out of nowhere, man. Behind one of them motherfucking cars. Had his hat down and had a motherfucking AK, man. And took Shorty whole brains out.
Damn.
I mean, like, stood over top of him with that jump. Like, it wasn't no face or none of that. He took Shorty head off. I got that call about 4 or 5 calls. Everybody was at the classics. My man Jeff was standing over top of him. I couldn't do nothing. I called my grandmother. She started crying. We started, we didn't go to his funeral, man, because we didn't want people to know that we was tight with him. Birdie was there. His sister went. A couple other people went. Just like his son. His son don't even know nothing about him for real. He don't know. I wanted to sit down and talk to Shorty, man, let him know what kind of good dad he really fucking had. But Shorty was, the only thing Shorty loved was that music, man. He loved that music. Only thing turned him out. Wayne ain't turned him out. His mother turned him out.
Wow.
Always forget that. His mother turned him out. All that shit they say, Wayne, this, that, no, Wayne ain't turned Shorty out. Pop mother turned him out, She turned him into a motherfucking pit bull for the shit she did to him, as when we were growing up. Wayne ain't turned Shorty into that. He was already there when he got with Wayne. Wayne just enhanced that shit.
Yeah.
And his motherfucking sister would tell you that, but Birdie ain't gonna really talk about none of that shit. Only motherfucking person that Pop was tight with, and I'm gonna tell you the truth about this. Pop was tight with he was okay with his sister. He was tight with me, my brother, my grandmother.